Okay, interesting thing. There are people in America starving, and I really don't understand why we're sending money overseas and third world countries and whatever it is that we're doing. Why can't we pay attention to the people that are currently in our country? H.G. Wells wrote a book in 1929 titled History of the Outline of the World. It was like 1,500 pages or so. One of the things in there that really stood out in my mind was the fact that, well, he wrote a thing that, you know, because it was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, where people went from doing things manually to doing things mechanically, that there needs to be a more equal division of the profits between the company owner and the employee. And it would seem to me that that's kind of a crossroads that we're at this time. And then you multiply it with the fact that currently we have the Illuminati going, you know, the end games. 2012 coming up. Who knows what that's going to bring, or why that's going to bring, or whatever. The fact that our kids have no respect for anybody anymore. You know, I work at a fast food place that employs a lot of kids, and I come to realize that a lot of these kids have, at 15, a lot of the things that I didn't have until I was 20-something. You know, I didn't have a cell phone until I was, oh man, I can't even say, like 30, 31, 32 maybe. And kids are born with cell phones now. Kids born around 82 or prior, you know, they have what they call I don't know, it's things that they should that they have. It's just a given, you know, cell phones, DVD, and VCRs aren't even included anymore. Internet access, preferably broadband, usually. Cars paid for by their parents. Education paid for by their parents. Usually from, well, preschool to graduate school. Oh, and because of that, they have no need or want to learn common sense. I watched H.G. Wells' Time Machine. There's a part in there, it was interesting, that he arrives on the scene in the future in a time machine, gets out of the thing, walks up to kind of like a, I don't know, like a football stadium or whatever, you know, an old one. Walks in, and there's a bunch of blonde-haired, blue-eyed, beautiful people, probably between the ages of 14 and 25. He sits down at a table, and in the middle of the table is a huge bowl of fruit. Apples the size of basketballs, you know, just plentiful provisions or whatever you want to call it. And then he asked to see a book, or if they had any books. And I said, yeah, we got some books. So he takes them back and opens up some curtains, and in there is some books. And he reaches in and he goes to grab a book, and it just kind of crumbled. Well, the interesting thing about this whole scenario is this movie was made back in the late 20s, early 30s. So when the Industrial Revolution came along, H.G. Wells was aware of the implications far into the future, which we are experiencing now. You know, not many kids read books anymore. I don't know if you've noticed, when you're driving around town, you see the cell phone booths or the cell phone enclosures. Telephone enclosures, or the blue things. But if you drive up to any of them, there's no telephones in them anymore. Well, that's because of cell phones. So, I don't know. You might give it some thought. Orson Welles is another individual to maybe take a look at. Anyways, if you visit me at Shadow Knows, SHADOWKNOWS 71 on YouTube, you might find out a little bit more about what I'm talking about. This world's coming to some interesting stuff. Oh yeah, in 2012, the Mayan, Hopi, and Aztec cultures, they all had a calendar. They all end in 2012. Why would a civilization that is over 2,000 years old end their calendar in 2012? Who knows? Maybe do a little research on it. Just look up 2012. 2012. I don't know. But anyways, you know, we have all these people living in America, living on the streets, begging for money. You know, I live that begging life. I know what it's like. It's not all that bad, really, if you can get past the cold and the sleeping in the streets or whatever you have. But anyways, more in the future. This is my first video. We'll see how it goes. Later. Peace.